Coming up on Tekzilla, the ThinkPad that nearly cost me my job, the PlayStation Network, it's back, Dropbox might not be safe, VoIP for the iPhone, moving your VPN to the router, the Doctor Who's viewer guide. Hey, get off the couch and do some burpees, because Tekzilla starts now. This episode of Tekzilla is made possible by The Ben Heck Show, building, modding, and electronics, brought to you exclusively by Element 14. West Host, offering premium web hosting since 1998, and Gazelle. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to Tekzilla, hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner or tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech or the best Duramax diesel to drop into a Suburban, we've got an answer for you.
I should never be allowed to browse on eBay late at night.
Well, I don't even know. You can buy diesel on eBay?
Oh boy, it's a diesel engine. Actually, I found a
engine.
Suburban that somebody else put a diesel engine into it. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
You know what? If we don't have an answer, we're going to track someone who does, because we like good information. On the, I'm not sure if this is way too paranoid even for me or not. Here's the thing, like, are Dropbox employees on the honor system when it comes to not looking at your secret files? Has Dropbox been misleading users regarding the level of security afforded files on Dropbox? That's pretty much the accusations leveled by Christopher Zagoian. He filed a complaint with the FTC last week. He used to work at the FTC, but you probably know him as the unbelievably talented computer science type dude that broke the story that Facebook hired a PR firm to smear Google not too long ago. Dropbox says the claims are without merit. They did a blog posting back on April 21st regarding privacy, security, and your Dropbox. This apparently did not soothe Zagoian. Dropbox says, look, we have strict policy and technical access controls to prohibit employee access except in these rare circumstances, physical and electronic security measures to protect user information from unauthorized access. All the furor comes down to changes in the Dropbox terms of service around April 13th. All files stored on Dropbox servers are encrypted AES 256 and are inaccessible, or AES 256, which is how people say it without braces, and are inaccessible without your account password. And then on the 13th, it became all files stored on Dropbox servers are encrypted AES 256. Difference there. And Dropbox employees aren't able to access user files. When troubleshooting an account, they only have access to file metadata, file names, file sizes, etc., not the file contents. Got changed to Dropbox employees are prohibited from viewing the content of files you store in your Dropbox account and are only permitted to view file metadata, e.g. file names and locations. Look, I got to be honest with you. As far as Dropbox security goes, I am much more concerned about having my notebook stolen. Because, hey, if they break the password, all my Dropbox files are stored in the clear on the Dropbox folder on my notebook. Just saying.
I wouldn't give up on Dropbox just yet, though. Wired's threat level blog has an awesome walkthrough. Links are in the show notes. Don't freak out yet. I feel pretty good about the Dropbox guys. I don't think they're trying to pull a fast one over us. But man, this guy's on a roll.
Yes.
With blowing things up on the internet the past couple of weeks.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting.
Roll is a good. He's basically, he wants people to play fair. And you know what? I'm into that.
I'm fine with that too, definitely. Not going to put my tinfoil hat on just yet, but I'm totally down with what he's doing.
This is also a good moment. Normally we tell you, hey, back up. But at this point we'll tell you, hey, if you're really worried about file security, encrypt everything before you put it anywhere else.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hey, Bing.com is bringing the friend effect to search. Starting today, you can receive personalized search results based on the opinions of your friends by simply signing into Facebook. Apparently, market research told Microsoft that 90% of the people seek advice from family and friends as part of the decision-making process. Well, now you can seek that advice without the human contact part. There's a demo video over at the Bing blog, which is pretty interesting. How do you feel about that? Do you want search advice from your friends and family?
I have a very narrow group
weighted
of people.
Results.
Well, it's just really funny. Like, I don't really spend any quality time on Facebook. And
yes, I know.
Sorry, I'll work on it.
It's okay.
Well, it's kind of funny because there's just like, I want to be able to like post baby pictures but not share them with the world. Nothing personal. But it's kind of really funny because you look at some of the stuff on Facebook. I look at some of my friends, the public wall thing, and I'm just like laughing because like I read this and I'm like, oh yeah, the guy that forwarded the thing about the dude that like has the 100 megabyte, you know what I mean, like the 100 mile per gallon carburetors, or I
have no idea what you're talking about anymore. Now I'm totally confused.
Let me put it this way. Do you get sent things on Facebook that normally would make you laugh or immediately go to Snopes.com because they sounded like BS?
Not too bad.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Because I've seen some
That's more
people's
emails
Facebook
from my mom.
pages. And
no, I love you, Mom.
That's really funny. But I mean, some of this, like, I'm just thinking, like, Facebook buying recommendations and vetting information are not two things I would normally put together.
Well, that's why Beacon went to hell in a handbasket.
There you have it.
So we'll see.
Is Apple launching something big to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Apple retail stores this Thursday? Boy, Genius Report thinks so. They got leaked info about overnight shifts and NDAs that people had to sign before they could lock their phones in a drawer and be allowed to assemble hardware on that overnight shift. Anyhow, something between the 21st and 22nd may or may not be coming.
Wow, has it really been 10 years?
10 years for the Apple retail stores.
Apple retail stores, wow. I don't really remember a time before Apple retail stores. I think the first one I went to was at the Stonestown Mall in Cambridge.
Sorry, I'm just feeling old. I can't remember a time before the Apple store.
Well, I can't.
It's
Anyway.
10 years. You're not that
I
old.
can remember 10 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean. I just can't really remember them
Can't
showing
remember
up
Apple
all of a
without
sudden.
the Apple store.
I guess,
Yeah, 'cause,
maybe.
you're like a Janet come lately to the Apple scene. You weren't there fighting it out in the dark years with system.
I didn't even have a first generation iPod. I
Really?
came in on second generation.
Oh yeah, I saw the
Because
iPod.
I was poor.
I was all over that.
I had no money.
You were like
couldn't
in high
afford
school
it.
or something.
I'm pretty sure I had to work like 6 extra shifts at the liquor store to pay for that thing.
And it was worth every penny.
It totally was. All right, so we're Netflix fans, and yeah, they're sponsors. Netflix.com/Tekzilla, woohoo! But we want to give you the heads up to classic film fans. The folks at CriterionCast.com have a list of 26 Criterion films that will be expiring on Netflix May 26th. Black Orpheus and Harlan County, USA are 2 that I'll be watching again before they go. On the flip side, Netflix just signed a digital deal with Miramax. It's first since Disney spun it off. Hundreds of Miramax titles will hit Netflix next month. Oscar winners like The English Patient and Shakespeare in Love and Patrick Hope's Good Will Hunting. And of course, I know it's a great movie. And of course, most of the rest of the Miramax catalog. So you can, get your Scream on.
Pretty sure that was Miramax Scream.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I won't be watching that.
No?
Actually, I saw the original Scream. I haven't seen any of the ones since then. Too scary for me, sorry.
Not watched a horror movie since.
No.
Just not all the time, though. The Miramax CEO told paidcontent.org that all titles won't be up all the time. For instance, they'll rest a title around a Blu-ray release.
Take a little breather.
Take a little breather.
In case you want to
But buy a
buy it.
Blu-ray if you want to watch
Yeah.
it for the next few weeks.
And yay, PSN is back.
Woo!
Yay! Oh, thank God. Yay. Sony turned PSN back on this weekend. As of Monday, when we taped this show, the PlayStation Store was still off. And hey, it was taking some users a bit of effort to change their passwords. To be expected, I guess. There's 102 million of them to update people.
The servers, they grow.
The servers, they can't take the pressure, Captain. PSN customers will get 2 free games you can choose from: Dead Nation, Infamous, Little Big Planet, Super Stardust HD, and Wipeout HD plus Fury. I think I'm going to be getting Infamous, and I already have Little Big Planet. Maybe Wipeout HD. That one's pretty fun. Maybe Dead Nation. We'll see. There's some time to figure it out. There's more stuff coming, but keep an eye on the PlayStation blog for updates going forward.
It's kind of funny. Our CEO, Jim Meyerback, and I have carried a lot of ThinkPads over the years. So there was a bit of a... I pretty much had to pry the ThinkPad X1 review loaner out of his hand so I could actually finish the review. If you're not familiar with Lenovo's ThinkPads, formerly IBM's ThinkPads, the business notebooks, they are considered some of the best in the universe, not just by me, but Jason Cross we had on a few weeks ago. Lots of folks are calling it kind of a MacBook Air Samsung S9 competitor. It's 16 millimeters. 0.84 inches thin. I think if you don't count the little rubber feet on the bottom, I think with the little rubber feet it's a little thicker, 3.8 pounds. And it's kind of interesting. If you have never played around with a ThinkPad keyboard, they went to a chiclet design to fit the super thin design. Let me know how it feels.
Did I just turn it off?
Probably.
What did I do?
I don't know. Just punch buttons until something goes back.
I think I like finger swiped it or something.
Well, it's kind of funny, right? Because the it feels actually shockingly good for a chiclet keyboard. So props to Lenovo for trying to keep the amazing keyboard feel in there. Spill-resistant keyboard. There's actually drain holes in the bottom, apparently. You let it dry out before you turn it back on. Gorilla Glass on the 13.3-inch screen, which lays flat. You saw me holding it kind of like a giant tablet. It's pretty bright, like 350 nits. It's got a touchpad and the pointing stick, which is pretty typical for a ThinkPad. USB 3.0, eSATA, SD card reader, multi-card reader, HDMI and DisplayPort connectors. Dolby Home Theater V4 technology is built in. you know, in theory, it makes the speakers sound louder and wider. I didn't have any really high quality audio samples, so I'm not going to comment on that. And it's got dual array mics and a 720p webcam. A lot of people really like the idea that you can choose between sort of a single and multiple user modes with the mics. The dual mics allow that to set up. Lenovo's got what they call rapid charge. So they're claiming you'll hit an 80% charge in 30 minutes plugged into the wall, which is killer if you basically live from airport to airport. They're claiming 10 hours with the extended slice, 5 hours off the sealed internal 6-cell battery, as in not user changeable. This is a pre-pro unit, but I'm seeing more like 3.5 hours on the battery. Laptopmag.com did tests. They say 4 without the slice, 8 with the slice. So it's not quite out of the park in terms of battery life, but if you spend a lot of time on planes, you'll probably want to go with the slice. Battery stretch, right? One thing about ThinkPads, they always put like 32 different little applets from ThinkPad on it. One of them is battery stretch. I found it kind of difficult, right? Because the idea is you can decrease your display brightness, turn off your display after 30 seconds, decrease the video color quality, use an energy-saving background, turn off audio or other features, lower the CPU to its lowest speed. Some of those settings are pretty good. Others, like the 30 seconds of idle time before it turned the display off, drove me bat stuff crazy, so I immediately turned it off. Because you're trying to read something and you read for 30 seconds and the screen goes black and you hit the keyboard again. It's like a little maddening. It's interesting. They're claiming they've got a long life battery time. So they say it's going to last 3 times longer than a standard lithium-ion battery. We will see. One nice thing I did notice is apparently the 10-hour, or I should say the extended life battery slice that attaches to the bottom is also rapid charge. The idea that you can get like 6 or 8 hours, probably 80% of 8 hours would be something along the lines of like, I don't know, 6. Math is obviously not my strong point. But if you can get like 6 hours of battery life with 30 minutes of charging, that's
not bad. That's not bad at all. It's good for airport terminal charging.
The notebook's performance was solid. Intel Core i5, 2520M processor, 320 gigabyte hard drive, like 4 gigabytes of RAM in the model we tested. That comes in at $1,399 or $1,550 with the big slice battery. Core i7 CPUs, SSDs, and up to 8 gigabytes of RAM are optional upgrades. Gaming, light World of Warcraft, sure, if you keep the settings reasonable. It's Intel 3000 graphics, so you're not going to be running first-person shooters on this. But it's Sandy Bridge, so you've got the kick-ass video encoding, and I'd say it's pretty solid for anything else. This is a very nice notebook if you live in the Windows world.
But will it play Angry Birds?
Will it play Angry Birds?
Yes, it will.
I'll download Angry Birds.
The answer to that question is yes.
It'll play the Necromantics. It'll play Angry Birds. It's actually like it's a solid notebook. $1,500 is not the cheapest notebook out there, but I think it's a pretty good performance. I just want to see the battery life closer to the 5 hours from the onboard battery. So again, we had a pre-pro unit. Matter of fact, this is like a CNC milled plastic case. Check this out. This is like total pre-production case on the slice battery. I was very excited.
Do you know when this is going to be released? Is it out yet?
Now.
It is out now.
This week. It should be in stores.
So I've been seeing all the reviews come out, so I wanted to.
Yeah, NDA went up this morning when we taped, and they should be available, I think, sometime between May 16th and May 20th. They should be available to ship.
Nice.
Exciting.
I'm on Angry Birds.
It's time to thank one of our sponsors, The Ben Heck Show, brought to you by Element 14.
Sorry. Okay, I'll turn it off. Yes. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations. Check out the new episode of The Ben Heck Show, where Ben mods some Xbox controllers for the Games for Health conference. Ben builds 3 new controllers, all with the goal of helping kids and their parents play video games together. Also, watch in this episode for Ben's incredible Sean Connery impression, which you can see right here at revision3.com/TBHS. Jeremiah and Nebraska sent us this intriguing video question.
Hey, Patrick, Veronica, and Robert, and the rest of the Tekzilla crew. Basically, my question is this. I've got this little guy, my BlackBerry, it's my work cell phone. I've got this little guy, Nokia, my personal cell phone. What I want to do is get rid of my personal cell phone and use this little guy for my personal conversations and everything of the sort. I want to use Google Voice, port over my personal cell phone number to Google Voice, and I don't know how to do that. I was wondering if you could help me out and figure it out, and reach out to the Tekzilla Nation and help me out. I do have Verizon Wi-Fi, so I'll have Wi-Fi wherever I go when I travel, because I do travel a lot for work. but just needed a way of integrating text and Google Voice and all that into my iPod Touch. So if you let me know, greatly appreciate it. I can't wait to see my mug on your show. Talk to you later.
So, Jeremy, the easiest way I found for making phone calls using Google Voice on your iPod Touch or iPad is by using the application Talkatone, or Talkatone. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. The application is free. Talkatone? Sorry, I don't know where that came from. The application is free, though there's a paid subscription model, so you can get access to other features. More on that in a second. To get started, you want to download the app via iTunes to your Touch, for example. Then you want to sign in using your Google account info and make sure you have all your calling features enabled in Google Voice. It's easy to set up a Google Voice account if you don't already have one. This will work now over Wi-Fi, over 3G, and you can even send and receive text messages over old school Edge connections, which is pretty neat. You wouldn't expect something like that to work. Here's what's completely free. Calls to other Talkatone users, calls to Google Voice accounts, and calls within the United States and Canada to regular phone numbers. International rates will still apply if you're using Google Voice to call internationally, and data rates will also apply if you're using your data plan. And then if you want additional features like adding multiple Google Voice accounts and applying ringtones and wallpapers to specific contacts, you'll need to sign up for one of their subscription plans. You get 1 month for $1.99, you get 12 months for $19, or you can just try the 14-day free trial. This will also hide all the ads and give you priority customer service, which is nice if things don't go wrong. We tested this out and it worked great, though the call quality really depends on what kind of connection you have. The app will try to compress the voice data a little bit to make the connection better too, so that's nice. And thanks to Bankerja on Gadget for helping us with this question. You can see that answers and others from this website. All right, let's try to call Serafina.
Fine.
Hold on. Call you. Okay, here we go. Sounds a little staticky on speakerphone. Serafina, I'm calling you. Answer the phone. Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Greetings from the control room.
So see, it works. There, we called her. And is this your Google Voice number or your regular number?
This is my Google Voice number.
It's your Google Voice number. Okay. Very cool. So hopefully this will be, I hung up on her. I'm sorry, Serafina. Hopefully this will be a good, I'm doing a show. What do you want from me? Hopefully this will be a good result for you. It's called Talkatone. It's available on the iTunes store, and I do not think it's available for Android yet, but it is a good solution.
I like it.
Yeah.
We've got an email from Anthony, who is in Macau, which I believe is in China. He writes, I used to be very jealous of the people with access to streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, all that good stuff. However, these services are not available to people outside of the US. Recently, I found a VPN, StrongVPN, and I've been using my PC to watch movies on Netflix. Now I'd like to bring the service to my PS3. However, there is no VPN client on my PS3, so I'll have to do it on the router side. Do you have any good suggestions on VPN routers? There's also tutorials on flashing routers, something called DDWRT, which make them VPN ready. But I don't like the sound of flashing routers for fear of bricking them. What do you think? Should I just buy a VPN ready router or an ordinary one and then flash it? Anthony in Macau, China. So it's kind of funny. StrongVPN is really cool. I've decided that StrongVPN is going to be my personal tool to watch curling in Canada.
So this is, but didn't you used to use Hamachi?
Well, no. Here's the thing.
Different.
StrongVPN is a service. You pay like
Okay.
$55 a year, and you can use it to create a VPN to an IP address in any country you choose, as near as I can tell.
Oh, so you can get around the restrictions.
Thank you for that tip. Now, theoretically, according to the tech support people at StrongVPN, any router that supports PPTP or LT2P, SSTP, or OpenVPN should work. These are the VPN protocols that StrongVPN supports, but StrongVPN definitely would like you to, quote, consider a pre-made router. But after we chatted with StrongVPN, they said they would also support DDWRT based through PPTP or OpenVPN. Just be aware, if you come across any issues using a DDWRT based router, i.e. you took a router, you flashed with DDWRT, support is going to take longer from them. Basically, expect resolution and response times of around 4 to 14 days, depending on the issue.
Not exactly their priority then.
Well, it's kind of like, oh, you made it yourself. We'll get back to you. Well, you know, it's, I mean, here's the thing. Part of the thing you might want to think about is a lot of people are running DDWRT on aging routers, what I will delicately call routers of a certain age. And routers of a certain age do not have particularly powerful CPUs, which means they tend to do things like encrypt packets slower and stuff like that. So, look, here's the thing. StrongVPN sells compatible routers, and of course they would like you to buy one of their routers, and they say the advantage of buying one of their VPN router recommendations is one that it's guaranteed to work, or at least it should work.
And also your customer service will probably improve greatly, vastly, if you order directly from them.
Yeah, if you definitely want to like build your own router, you could do a DDWRT router with OpenVNP and PPTP services turned on. That means locating a donor router that you can successfully flash with DDWRT and has enough firmware memory to also accommodate the additional space required by OpenVPN, plus the extra elbow grease, getting everything working with your VPN service. You can look up the DDWRT supported devices list for help in picking a unit. We got a link to that in the show notes. I got to say, I just feel like there's moments where I'm just like, if you really want to DIY, go forth and DIY, young Anthony. But I got to say, when it comes to VPN, I want the biggest, gnarliest, latest model CPU I can get my angry little hands on.
So you're saying don't bother flashing, probably buy one of the new routers.
I should go through the list again, but maybe it was my eyeballs, but I didn't see anything that seemed. I want new router. If I'm going to buy a new router, I want a freaking new router.
Yeah.
I don't want 802.11g with an older CPU where if I try to turn on WPA2 Wi-Fi encryption, it chokes. I would say buy a newer router, sir.
All right, well, there's more Tekzilla coming up right next soon.
Right soon.
That is when it is happening. But before we do that, it's time to thank one of our sponsors, WestHost.
WestHost, people, they've been offering premium web hosting since 1998 and doing it at a very affordable 19 cents a day. And with free US-based 24/7 phone, chat, and email support, you'll be well looked after and you'll understand what they're saying. WestHost offers free website transfers and a 60-day money-back guarantee. And if that's not enough, check this out. We can score you an exclusive 25% discount off web hosting. Just do yourself a favor and visit westhost.com/Tekzilla.
Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, judging a book by its cover. You've probably heard the phrase, never judge a book by its cover, but one man named John Dax figured out that it's actually a lot of fun. His website, Judging a Book by Its Cover, picks a new book every week or so, and then John writes a synopsis of the book based completely on the cover art. Most of the books so far err on the side of science fiction and fantasy because, come on. We all know that the covers are ridiculous, and this is coming from someone with a sci-fi and fantasy book club, swordandlaser.com, check it out. But I digress. From ferocious-looking warrior women with swords, sad-looking teen vampires, and a war between the cows and the gnomes, there's enough silliness here to fill a book in its own right. It's all in good fun, and he also makes sure to point his readers to the actual, real description of the book on Amazon. I wonder if there are any instances of him not being too far off with his fake synopsis. Check out this hilarious site at judingabookbyitscover.com. And thanks to Sword and Laser reader Tamahome for the suggestion. Dave writes in asking, hello Tekzilla friends. Patrick mentioned in a recent episode that he was traveling with his iPad and had trouble charging it in the vehicle. I was wondering if there is a good vehicle charging solution that I can use. I travel approximately 65,000 miles a year in my company vehicle and will be using my iPad for navigation and entertainment. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Dave in Massachusetts.
I should probably clarify. I was having trouble charging the iPad with the USB port built into the big Yukon we rented for our big family vacation in big nature, because we had like 8 big people.
Nature is big.
Nature is big. But the problem is a lot of the in-vehicle charging systems, or basically like there's a USB port. I plug my iPhone or my iPad into the USB port. I can control it with the giant knob in the dashboard. It comes through the stereo. This is all really cool, except most of those USB ports that are built into cars and a lot of head units are 500 milliamps, and of course the iPad needs 2 amps. Charging the iPad off a 12-volt lighter socket in your car is really easy. You just need a USB car charger that delivers 2.1 amps. I suggest you check out Kensington's PowerBolt Micro car charger. It's under 20 bucks, or the Belkin Micro Charge 2.1 Plus Charge Sync. There's a bunch of others out there. They're pretty easy to find and they're pretty cheap. Again, my problem though is that I want to do the output from the iPad in the entertainment system in the car, which was pretty sweet. You know, you get the nav voice over the car speakers, everybody can enjoy the music. But of course, you know, I would basically charge this every night, and there would be a tiny little bit of a trickle charge while it was running. But basically, I'd get like, you know, 6, 7, 8 hours out of the iPad. Then I would have to switch to the iPhone for the rest of the day. Then I got home, I found something called the cable drive dock stubs pass-through and charging adapter, 23 bucks on Amazon. It separates the power from the rest of the docking pins, so you can basically have a docking cable and a 2.1 volt power source that plugs into it.
Get out.
And then you can plug that into your iPad. Now I just need to get the wife's car with a nifty iPod stereo in it for an extended period for testing. But if you'll notice, I am charging, obviously not off the USB cable, but off of the external 2.1 power source plugged in. It's a little, you know, it's a lot of cables to have hanging around the car. So it's not elegant at this point, because as near as I can tell, nobody actually has a sort of more elegant thing where they put like a very slim dock connector.
We're
and
not
then
known
the
for our
separate power.
elegance on this show for some of our solutions, so I think it's okay. The viewers expect us to shimmy some things together a
You know,
little
if I'm
bit.
going to hang something off the front of the car, the window of the car, in gross violation of California state law, I would like it to be a little less awful looking.
True.
But yeah, this is a start. You know, you could also probably wire your own custom cable, sending a 2.1 amps into the charger. And
So
that's
this
something,
allows you to get your full charge on while you're still outputting the audio video.
as near as I can tell, I have not done extensive testing with it. I know it will power it while using a separate USB cable. I am still playing. I basically need to steal my wife's car so I can test it out a little more extensively with the cool
It's not
car
stealing,
stereo.
it's field testing.
Field testing.
There you go.
You write me a note for that.
I will. We got more of your emails still to come, but first, it's time to thank one of our sponsors, Gazelle. Gazelle accepts more than 300,000 products from over 20 different electronics categories. Shipping is free on all items of value, and in most cases, they'll even send you a box to ship with. Also, for you green folks out there, Gazelle makes all their recycling partners adhere to some strict policies. No exports, no landfill, and tons of data security standards. Gazelle is a great way to get cash to upgrade to the latest iPhone or Android device. Go to www.gazelle.com to learn more. All right, so Bob wrote in with his experience with Sprint's 4G coverage. He writes, in the recent review of the Sprint Overdrive 4G and the Verizon MiFi 4G, you showed the coverage maps from both cell providers. I have found that, at least for Sprint's 4G coverage, Clearwire's coverage map is a much better source for coverage info. My city is currently not listed as a 4G city by Sprint. However, Clearwire 4G is here and works on my Evo 4G. Hope this can help for those who are seeking 4G coverage from Sprint. Bob in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Yeah, Bob, we appreciate the sit rep. It's good to know that you know the Clearwire is kind of, you know, Clearwire, which is kind of a partnership. Clearwire, Clearwire is essentially Sprint 4G. It's nice to know it's showing up in parts of the country that maybe aren't on the Sprint map. But the flip side is that one of the things I did want to make clear, whether you choose Sprint or Verizon, is that there are large parts of the country where you are not going to get any 4G. Large metropolitan areas, yes, for 4G. Smaller metropolitan areas, sometime later. I mean, from what I've heard from some of the people who are a little more up to speed on the industry, is hopefully in about 2 years, everything's going to be 4G. I should acknowledge a bunch of emails I got that were like, dude, if you have a 5 gigabyte cap on that 4G modem from Verizon, you are totally going to blow through your month's supply of internet in like 4 hours or 2 hours or whatever the actual calculated time is. And well, yeah, if you actually can connect to a server that will provide you data at 30 megabits per second full speed for an extended number of hours, yes. If you're uploading large videos to your, servers in San Francisco from Vegas, yes, you will blow through your 5 or 8 gigabyte cap in a matter of hours. For normal usage, it'll take a little more time.
You're downloading things over your fancy new international VPN client.
Yes, if you're watching curling video, 22 hours of curling videos, bam, and you're done for, well, you're just paying additional fees. But that was one of the things. That's what some people also argue. It's like Sprint's better because it's uncapped, even if it's 25 times slower. And I also heard from a bunch of people in around the country like, I totally get like 4 megabits per second all the time off my Sprint modem, which is just another sign that wireless technology sucks in San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, in our tireless efforts to educate the younger viewers about expressions used by us older types, we have this email from Brian, which says, "Hi guys, in the most recent episode, Veronica used the term fubar, which was explained in Saving Private Ryan as being a German word that the interpreter Corporal Upham had never heard before. Of course, we're all abundantly clear on its true meaning, or are we? Being in the military, I have found around the world and back again, and every time I want to explain it to my kids and grandmother, I say it means fouled up beyond all recognition. Love the show, and Veronica, with her smile, is a regular celebrity here in Iraq. Brian, somewhere near Kirkuk, Iraq, but really from Tejas."
Tejas. Yes,
Tejas.
that's very nice. Thank you, Brian. Hear that, Pat? I'm a celebrity.
You're a celebrity.
In Iraq.
I knew that already.
I'm the small quadrant of people that probably watch this show.
Celebrity in San Francisco and on Twitter.
Anyway, finally, in an attempt to broaden the cultural horizons of our viewers, we have this email from Eric with a question about a popular on-screen doctor. He writes, "Hi guys, love the show. I've been wanting to watch every single episode of Doctor Who, yes, I know it's a lot, including the spin-offs and movies. In what order do I watch all these? Are there any episode I must watch? Any suggestions? Thanks. Eric, Kings Point, Newfoundland, Canada." All right, so I have also never seen Doctor Who. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, apparently we are
have never
not
seen Doctor
quality
Who.
human beings, and certainly not geeks, because we are not rabid Doctor Who fans.
I know. Roger and Serafina are Doctor Who fanatics. Do you watch the show?
I've promised that I will attempt to watch the show again.
Tom's
I've been
been trying to
given a
get me.
list.
Tom Merritt, our good friend, has been trying to get me to watch Doctor Who forever. He's given me episode recommendations. We have a forum thread about it on Sword and Laser, even.
I've never enjoyed any attempt I've made to watch Doctor Who.
But Roger has helped us. He has
Okay.
helped us. He says you should start with the first series of the show's reboot. That would be the series starting 9th Doctor, played by Chris Eccleston. Am I saying that right, Roger? Okay, thank you. It's a great starting point since prior knowledge of Doctor Who really isn't necessary, although it can help you make sense of the Doctor Who universe a bit easier to understand. Plus, the reboot made the series a bit more mature and watchable for adults than previous incarnations that were designed to appeal to families and kids. From the 9th Doctor, it's a straight line forward from there to the current 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith. All the seasons are solid, but the episodes to really keep an eye out for are Blink and the two-parter Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead. Now, I did watch YouTube clips from Blink this weekend, and it was really scary.
Really?
Not like horror, like scary, bloody, like freak out scary, just really like psychologically, like, oh my God, this
Disturbing.
is whoa.
Horror rather than slasher.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, keep an eye out for the Christmas specials. While not necessary for enjoying the show, they do provide a fun and surreal departure from the regular season. As for spin-offs, the only one we can recommend is Torchwood, with a character the Doctor meets in the episode The Empty Child, episode 9 of the 9th Doctor series. And for you Doctor Who junkies, with Netflix, you can catch all the episodes of the rebooted Doctor Who on instant streaming, which is good news for me. That's how I can
Yay.
catch up. I feel really bad because I know, like, a lot of people I talk to online, like Fee, for example, and a bunch of my friends on Twitter, they're all big Doctor Who nuts, and I just can't. It's one of my areas of geekdom I've just never stepped up to the plate with. I'll just catch up. I'll watch it on Netflix streaming.
I feel that I've covered so many geek bases, I have nothing to prove, but we could make a bet who can watch, like 5 episodes of Doctor Who before next Monday.
Intriguing.
Notice us both leaping towards that bet. Yeah, it's really funny, actually. Okay, now it's where it stopped working, start charging for a
Oh, is
little
that
bit.
what you were doing over there?
Yeah,
the
that's
whole
what's like,
time?
why didn't it stop charging? And now it's charging again. So.
Good.
This internet. Hey, you got a burning tech question for us, whether it's actually about burning tech. And we have a question about burning tech on Wednesday's
Literally.
show coming up. Or just a very urgent question, or just a vague moment of curiosity. Send it to us. Tekzilla at revision3.com. That's our email address, or you can post it on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Tekzilla, where
And-
Veronica or Serafina will see it.
Yes.
I will eventually catch up.
And of course, we're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TechHD, and Twitter at Tekzilla, at Robert Heron, at Patrick Norton, and me at Veronica. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Until next time, you've been watching Tekzilla.
Bye.
Is it still charging?